Hi, this is Slender Over 50, the holistic path to healthy aging. This is your weight loss and diabetes solution that I want to tell you about today. Hi, I'm Lori Ballou, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, here to guide you, empower you, inspire you, educate you, and energize you so that you can make choices with your health. And as I start off on this, I just want to ask you a couple of questions. So let's get your notebook out and write things down as you go along. And here we go. Do you feel overwhelmed about dieting and how to lose the stubborn weight or stop weight gain? Do you have elevated blood sugar levels? And have you been told you might be pre-diabetic, or maybe you're already diabetic and maybe worried about disease progression? Well, today you're going to discover how you get longer lasting, healthy weight loss results that are ultimately easy with simple steps so you can feel more confident at your job, feel beautiful, and have more energy to get through the afternoon without crashing, to be able to be on your feet from the moment you wake up in the morning until you go to bed. And I will share with you all I can in the short time we have together today. You may be here today to find out how to lose the weight, but you will learn how to age healthy without disease as well. And isn't it time you were pulling clothes from the back of the closet and finally wearing them? Or getting hand-me-downs from somebody who's slender and you just are excited to just restock your closet? After all, what's life without feeling comfortable in your body and enjoying it to the fullest, wearing pretty clothes? We all look forward to that. And imagine how it's going to feel when you do a closet edit and toss out bags of big clothes you don't need anymore, ever. Then you will have to go shopping. I did this. Are you ready for that to happen? My client just told me all her clothes are baggy. I hear this every single time. So excited when they get to that 20-pound marker of weight loss. And you can too. And another one had just told me, she's like so happy because she's got her summer body. So these things, it's not the only thing that's important, but there's more things that we can look forward to because overall, we want to make sure we turn the disease off in our body. That's what I want to empower you with today, that message. Because unfortunately, as women, we've been told we need to out-exercise our calories to eat low fat to lose weight. And we've lived like that. Personally, I would lose weight but gain it back continuously. And if I wasn't dieting, I was gaining weight. But I also, when I would lose the weight in that process, I never lost the inflammation. And I had a client tell me that too. It's very interesting to think about. You could force your body to lose weight, but you will not force the inflammation to leave without a metabolic reset. So if any of that sounds familiar to you about being on a low-calorie diet to lose your weight, something to think about. In the past, I was just terrified of gaining weight back, and at the time, helpless to prevent it. I'd constantly check mirrors to see. I used to want to be one of those women that could lose weight easily, but I never was. Maybe I'd get abducted and be deprived of food. And as sad as that was, I felt that desperate. Who can relate to that, right? I could not stop the weight regain or control my hunger for the foods I knew I shouldn't eat. And I had to live with the depression and anxiety because of all of that. And you know how frustrating it is when you give in to the food cravings and just feel too exhausted to fight, because at the end of the day, that willpower is not going to work. Hunger will win over. It is always easier to give in, feel numb, than to fight that feeling. Ladies, if I had known in my 30s and 40s what I know now, I wouldn't have had to suffer so much. And I don't want you to suffer. I personally lost my childhood and my 30s and 40s to obesity specifically. I don't feel anyone should suffer like that. But the thing about weight gain is it's a symptom of being unhealthy. Weight gain means there's a problem. We have to actually get healthy to lose the weight. And I'm going to tell you how you can finally lose the weight for good as you age healthily, as I'm doing. Going to take you with me. Stay tuned. Have you been told, or have you been to the medical system and they told you all your labs look normal, but you feel like crap? Or you just need to lose weight, but you've got fatigue, weight gain, you don't feel good, and you're just exhausted, and maybe you're having trouble getting up out of bed in the morning or going to bed so exhausted or wired and tired that you can't fall asleep and you've got insomnia, and then they just want to give you an antidepressant or a sleeping medicine, right? Well, all of that is just too frustrating because you've probably tried all the diets like I did and haven't been able to lose weight permanently. I've been there. It's not that you didn't try hard any more than I didn't. It's just that we hadn't discovered the right method that works for weight loss back in the day. Or maybe even still currently, you're still struggling with this process. You just don't know what you don't know. I didn't know. Hunger will always take over, and willpower just doesn't work long term. I'm going to teach you about a long term solution, the one that I'm using, to solve your weight and health problems that cause the weight gain so that you don't develop a lifestyle disease like prediabetes or other lifestyle diseases of aging too fast. Let's slow it down, ladies. Would you like to slow down that aging? The conventional approach to losing weight and managing diabetes is a low-fat, high-carb diet which keeps your hunger turned on, which is hard to manage long-term. Studies show this rarely works and has led to a diabetes epidemic per Dr. Mark Hyman, MD, the best-selling author of Food Fix, Eat Fat, Get Thin, and his new book, Longevity Forever, which is a really great one and has good testimonies in there. The shortfall of the conventional approach is that it does not take into consideration insulin resistance, blood sugar imbalances, or hormone regulation. It doesn't address the root cause of weight gain or diabetes. It doesn't test for your digestion to see if it's functioning, or mineral balance, hormones, or gut microbiome to see the path of dysfunction that develops early on to prevent the onset of disease, because you want to prevent it. You don't want to have to worry about reversing it because it could be too late. It also doesn't provide support to you as the patient, that conventional approach. You want to improve your diet, right? You want to know what works, but you may not have the support or the accountability or the right knowledge and guidance to get the health results you want and need. This often keeps you stuck, overweight, and once again frustrated, and not any healthier, but perhaps sicker and suffering because you keep trying year after year after year, like I did, with no results. It's so frustrating. I understand. That's where I was. The conventional approach to losing weight does not work and never will, as we've all likely spent our lifetime trying. As women, we've been restricting food since childhood, because that's the message we get. Gotta be slender. Who here has been on that diet merry-go-round of weight gain and loss and regain, right? Well, it's time to finally get off. And I'm going to help guide you and empower you on how to do this. And I'm going to educate you on why. Fortunately, this is a real weight loss in diabetes solution, the one that I've been using for myself. I discovered how the right functional labs delivered to my clients can bridge the gap of knowledge along with the right nutrition. I am going to teach you what I did to lose the weight and reverse my disease risk. And by the end of this webinar, you will know how you can collapse the time it takes for you to find your personal weight loss blocks and healing opportunities. Think about this for a moment. If those skinny myths worked, you would be slender now and not worried about continuing weight gain and headed toward prediabetes or worse. For me, I felt like a diet failure. And I didn't even know I had prediabetes because they never really told me, and I didn't go into the doctor very often, which I had symptoms of prediabetes in my 30s, and I was 225 pounds, and I had PCOS. So there's a reason weight loss is a profitable business entity. Ever do Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig? Hands up, right? They're still in business. They have a captive audience of us women, of women, hoping this time they will finally succeed at weight loss as they return yearly because they just don't know what else to do. They just don't know what they don't know. And those companies profit year after year. But you shouldn't have to do something like this more than once. Learn it and be empowered and get long-term results so you don't have to do it again. That's part of what I'm going to inspire and motivate you today to do. So for myself, being a December baby, I would tell myself every year, this year, I'd tell myself, I will finally lose the weight. I just knew it. As January would come around, but I lost my 30s and 40s to obesity, and I didn't lose the weight, and the depression just stayed. The reason why I became really passionate about this topic and my signature program, Slender Over 50, because I discovered how easy it really is to lose the weight. And it makes me mad that I wasted quality years of living and losing my 30s and 40s to obesity and depression, asthma, and arthritis because this knowledge wasn't shared or discussed. I had to find it in books and follow people to get this information. It's a good thing I'm a reader. Thanks, Mom. Well, it's my mission to shout this from the rooftops so you don't have to suffer anymore. I'm so glad you are here today because that means you are determined to find your answer. And I'm here to give it to you because you just need to hang out with holistic health rebels like me who are going to do things outside the box, think outside the box, and find the answers because I am a health detective, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, and I'm going to help you get your life back so you can reclaim your health. So today, you will learn how you can ditch the skinny narratives for quick, easy, permanent weight loss this year. Yes, it starts with 20 pounds of weight loss with my 6-month program. And that's what I want for everybody because you deserve it. I'm going to share with you my weight loss and diabetes solution on how I lost the 100 pounds as a woman over 50 and how I am keeping it off permanently because I just lost another 7 pounds. And so it's not coming back on as I age healthily in my 60s without any medications or diseases. And yes, that is possible if you follow the metabolic approach to weight loss and diabetes. So I reversed my prediabetes and did not become diabetic like most of my family. I reversed my asthma and reduced my allergies because they barely pop in anymore. And I healed my knees. So there's no more pain in my fingers and my elbows and my knees. So it's all gone. And I reduced my risk for cancers, which is why this is really important because you got to understand that we need to actually prevent cancer and Alzheimer's and dementia. So it's not just the weight loss. That's just what we see in the mirror and what we want for our body. But you got to look inside the body. What's happening inside our body? Because you might think that things run in the family, and they can, but it's often insulin resistance and cultural similarities in the standard American food that we're eating that causes the insulin switch to be on and to cause the cancers in our body. And that's why it seems like it runs in our family's DNA. I do have the obesity, I am, that's a term that's hard for me to say, but I am or have the obesity DNA specifically in my body, can get fat very easily. And so that is a survival mechanism from the past. Some people get more heavy with carbohydrates and other people don't. I'm one of the ones that do, and that runs in my family. And it's insulin resistance that is the precursor. So we just lower insulin, right? And DNA is not set in stone, so I'm going to talk more about that in just a little bit. But I am the proof with my health transformation that this DNA isn't set in stone. So I'm going to teach you about the long-term solution to solve your health problems, as well as to lose the weight that you want to lose, so that you don't develop a lifestyle disease like prediabetes, which is a complication of weight gain. Stop the weight gain, reduce your risk for disease. That's the weight loss and diabetes solution, ladies. And it's time to toss out those skinny myths of low-calorie, low-fat approach that keeps us sick and which goes against our human biology and creates metabolic dysfunction and disease in everybody eventually. 9 out of 10 diseases of aging are lifestyle related. Did you know that? It's horrifying. Let me ask you this. What is on your mind that makes you think you might be in danger as you age over 50 or 60? What keeps you up at night? What wakes you up in the middle of the night that you're worried about? So the typical conventional diet fails because of the overlooked problems of hunger, cravings, insulin resistance, and a high blood sugar metabolism. Your body is starving for nutrition. Let's explore that overlooked weight loss and diabetes solution most people don't know about. And so I'm so glad you're here because you can now find out. But first, it does begin with a focus on getting back to our natural diet as nature designed us. When you eat more ancestrally with animal proteins, and it could just be fish and eggs if you're doing vegetarian, but we have to keep to proteins that our body was designed to have because we need amino acids and we need the animal fats to absorb the nutrients from these proteins. So you want the right carbs for your body to be healthy, to keep your DNA healthy. This is practicing epigenetics. Those lifestyle diseases I talked about, they're preventable. That is how I stay slender over 50 and I age healthily. So what happens when you eat ancestrally, which is a whole foods diet? It's not something that's scary. Is you actually turn off hunger. How would you like to have hunger go away? I haven't even eaten past 2 o'clock today. I think it was maybe 1:30. And I'm not even hungry. There's tricks and hacks to that. When you meet your protein needs and reduce the cravings by nourishing your body with the right nutrition and the right amino acids for your body that you need, you reduce blood sugar highs and lows. This then creates an active, healthy metabolism, and you even get muscle growth, which is important, especially over 50. This is how to protect yourself against weight gain and prediabetes, supporting bone, skeletal muscle, and brain health. This is all important, and it requires hormone balancing as well, which includes the insulin, cortisol, as well as your sex hormones. This is what gave me my weight loss solution because I managed all of that and still to this day manage that as a health hobby. It is also the process to your diabetes and disease solution. Because when you practice this process, you flip the disease-causing genes off when you stop the wrong carbs for your body. So your DNA is not your destiny. You can express your DNA epigenetically in a healthy way, or you can express that DNA in an unhealthy way. So we can turn off disease-causing process by how our environment influences our DNA. So think of a gun. Picture a gun, right? As your DNA. The environment is the trigger, and we can influence whether the trigger is pulled. Let me give you an example of the Pima Indians. So the Pima Indians in the early 1900s were living off of the upper river in Arizona. And when the American white men came in and took over the river and changed the environment there for the Indians and maybe changed the course of the water. And so they were no longer able to live off the land. What happened was half of the Pima Indians ended up on a reservation and they were given food, white flour, white sugar, processed foods, and stopped living off the land, stopped getting the movement that they needed, and they became very obese and very diabetic. That was half of those Pima Indians. The other half went to Mexico, continued to live off of the land, and lived the way that they had been living for generations. And they were lean, healthy, and never expressed their DNA for diabetes. Because that is a survival mechanism of the body getting fat to protect yourself from starvation. But when you use your environment to protect your body the way it was designed, then you don't have to have diabetes and be overweight. So this is great information, right? And this is when food is information to your body. So to get healthy, to lose the weight, it comes down to you need to eat more protein and fat to lose the weight, and stay away from the processed food carbs. Just eat vegetable carbs and some fruit, nuts, seeds, olives, fermented pickles, fermented kimchi. Those are the foods that make our body thrive. So when you eat more protein as well, you turn off your hunger and cravings because that is what your body is searching for. And you will continue to seek out food until you get the right amount of protein your body needs. And there's a hack for that. The fat is saturated fat, and it's necessary for your brain and your hormones. Cholesterol is so essential that your body will make 80% of the cholesterol to protect you. It's not the demon here. It's inflammation, sugar, and oxidation that causes your cholesterol to get inflamed and be a problem in your body. But it's not cholesterol that is the enemy. And the fat helps you absorb your fat-soluble vitamins and nutrients. It's necessary. But we want the right type of fats that turn off inflammation in our body so that we can function the way we were designed, to turn off the inflammation. And that's the difference between losing weight with a low-carb diet and losing weight on a calorie-free or a low-calorie, low-fat diet, because you don't reduce the inflammation on the standard American care with the skinny mitts. So now, with this process, you can naturally lower your insulin response with a low-carb diet, reducing your sugar and grains, which are the foods that raise blood sugar and make you sick. Just like the Pima Indians. Eating protein to satiation is activating GLP-1 naturally and turns off hunger. No pills or shots necessary. This is nourishing your good bacteria as well for a more functioning gut and immune system as nature has intended, because 80% of your immune system starts in the gut. And so we need to protect that and get it working for you. And so that needs to be a focus for being slender over 50 and aging healthy. Your gut has to function. What I've talked about here is the number one untold secret for weight loss and reversing diabetes naturally and for good. And it is the untold low-carb approach the medical system doesn't want you to know about, because they won't make a profit off of a healthy person. They don't make a profit off of me. I don't give them any money. But this is also how they do business. They are in a sick care business and not healthcare. It's a for-profit business that requires sick people to stay in business. If everyone healed from diabetes and didn't develop cancer, Alzheimer's, or dementia, the whole medical system would be obsolete. And there would be less buildings, like kidney dialysis buildings. Whole buildings would be just disappear. They wouldn't be needed. Think about all that. And think about how you get to choose the direction you want to go with the health of your body. And so, is it time you break your carb cycle? Drop 20 pounds? and beat diabetes naturally to age healthy? How does that sound? Well, it's doable. This then prevents the uncertainty of all the lifestyle diseases, and you get to choose. Now you get to wake up easily. Stop that worry. Remember, I asked you what it is that wakes you up and makes you worry? You get to stop that. Stop that worry. Get peace of mind and slip into your skinny jeans finally and for good. Sometimes it seems we have to choose our hard, but lifestyle change is easier than reversing a disease. Believe me, I've made that choice and have never looked back. Here's how you can start easily. Start with my food bridge concept and eat everything low carb to be successful. Check out my recipe book at my website with the recipes that I used to lose while losing 100 pounds. My food bridge concept is addressed in this recipe book as well. This concept uses low carb nutrition and low carb food to help you bridge the gap of ultra processed foods to reduce your hunger and get you off the processed foods. So it becomes easier to navigate as you implement the changes. It's not about restriction, but choices. And you get to incorporate the same flavors that you love. You just make everything low carb. So this will help you flip your sugar switch off. How would you like to flip it off? And overcome hunger and the cravings while your body heals finally. Drop the 20 pounds, get brain energy back as you lose that brain fog. That's when the pain goes away. Get excited about life again. This is joy making and it's priceless. I have never regretted making this lifestyle shift, and neither will you. It saved my life and it will save yours. How this works is you eat everything low carb without cheating. Because why would you want to cheat on yourself when you want to feel better and feel beautiful in your body? And so this will help you correct your blood sugar and your metabolism. It is not a restriction, but empowerment, and is based on eating foods that are similar to what you've been eating in the past, with a focus on sugar-free and grain-free, which is basically a whole foods approach with less barcodes and packages. This makes getting started easier and sustainable because you will be creating lifestyle habits versus dieting. And this is how the weight stays off and health is created. This is thriving while living for aging beautifully and adventurously. And this is your metabolic reset. You support your metabolism, and then your body supports you. Ladies, this is creating food freedom. How would you like to get away from those cravings and hunger and finally feel good in your body? This is also longevity, and it can be yours. Start by eating low carb. Eat meat, maybe it's just fish and eggs, but make sure you get those good proteins, good fats to lose the weight finally. Here's where I come in to fast track this process, if that's what you're interested in. My holistic low carb method will create clarity and trumps the skinny narratives with simple steps for permanent weight loss. I meant permanent. This is the #1 secret for natural weight loss for women over 50. Don't think menopause means you have to stay sick and fat and overweight and unhappy. It is not true. I lost my weight in menopause. And this incorporates finding your food sensitivities to reduce inflammation quickly, repair gut health and digestion, and to help you get healthy to lose that weight. I help guide you here with my lived experience and education and clinical experience. This is the foundational start that works every time with my clients when implemented. We test, don't guess, which is part of the process of my holistic low carb method so that you get clarity about what's going on inside your body. So excited to share this with you. And I'm telling you this so that you are empowered to know you can also feel amazing with controlled hunger, better energy, and a new lease on life. These are quick results, and when you reduce the right carbs, 20 pounds will drop off. Unless you don't have that much to lose and you just need to reclaim your health and maybe lose 5 to 10 pounds. Could be that the health is the most important thing to you, but the weight loss and inflammation will still help you lose some weight and get rid of the visceral fat around your face, your neck, and your chest. It will come off. It is always a result of getting healthier and losing that inflammation to get that weight loss. So let's, excuse me. All right, let's get back. Let's back up a bit for more context. When I was young, I don't know if you know, but I had depression, very young age, and I became overweight as an adolescent and reached 200 pounds. My mom took me to the medical system to try to get help with the depression, but I wouldn't talk to anybody. So she had to go home. And I remember that car ride. She ultimately put me on the Atkins low carb diet, which helped me reset my weight back to 150 pounds. I noticed I did better with more amino acids from protein, which corrected my depression. Imagine that. No doctor was actually needed. This saved my life at the time, and I lost 50 pounds. I didn't have to go through high school at 200 pounds. I'm so ever grateful for that. But I still had to live through all the trial and error of diets and the skinny narratives going into adulthood because I didn't yet know what I know now about blood sugar dysfunction and food sensitivities that I had to live with. So I was almost always had anxiety and depression because of those food sensitivities. And I wish someone could have told me then what I know now. So, and I wish that anybody younger than 50 even gets this information because nobody has to suffer when that information is shared. So please share this information in this video with somebody if it inspires you. So my weight loss journey started in earnest one day when I came in from outside with my 8-year-old son at the time, and my husband was sitting on the sofa, and he didn't even look at me. And he asked me, when am I going to lose the weight? I was at my highest weight, 225 pounds, depressed, asthmatic, unhappy, exhausted, needing to take naps. And I started to read the books. I picked up an exercise bike and I started endless walking. My life became one big diet. That was the goal I had. As my husband told me, I needed to lose the weight. The books empowered me. I loved the books. They're so empowering. Knowledge, purpose, all of this fueled my desire to succeed. They gave me hope. I never gave up my hope and my dream to feel better in my body and feel beautiful or to wear beautiful clothes. I even bought the most beautiful red tunic with crystals, Swarovski crystals, that didn't even fit as an extra large. Just frustrated me to no end. But I kept that shirt around for a long time. But this is my pain to purpose story, which has become a promise to other women like you who join this health adventure and journey to age beautifully. And by the way, that red tunic was worn twice over the last 2 Decembers. And I even had it altered and tightened up around the chest. I finally retired it because it was just too big. A sweet success, because I'm a size 8 now and I don't need to wear an extra large. But on that fateful day of being told I needed to lose the weight, I first started with Susan powder and ate fat-free because that's what she said we should do. That was the fat-free era. And you could eat Snackwell cookies. And supposedly you could lose weight doing that. It didn't work, but that's what they told you. I was on a mission as a woman. I lost weight, but I, interestingly, never lost the depression, the allergies, and the asthma, or the inflammation from eating carbs. And I gained arthritis. I didn't know PCOS I had in my mid-30s was insulin resistance and prediabetes, as this wasn't discussed. Nowadays, they just give you metformin for PCOS with no explanation. However, that's prediabetes, ladies. I did manage to lose weight off and on with perseverance, had 2 more kids, and each and every time gained all the weight back each and every time. My weight kept coming back. I could not keep it off. I felt hopeless. My kids became my reason for living, my my reason to holding on to the hope. In my 30s and 40s, I was on that merry-go-round of weight gain and weight loss. I couldn't get off because of the skinny narratives I followed that were to eat low fat, eat grains, and it's okay to have sugar because it's fat-free. They even put sugar in cancer centers, for God forbid. That is just the worst thing in the world. You could just, the skinny narratives were just, you just have to out-exercise your calories. But that didn't work. Most people were just always hungry. And the women that could make that work, they just lived hungry. And I was always hungry and never left the house without packing food or planning what I would eat. I was a nibbler during this time and my body was starving for protein and nutrition. I walked all the time and I couldn't lose weight. I just thought I was a failure at this. Once when I was out walking in my neighborhood, Boyd pointed at me and said, "There's a fat woman," as he was shushed by his mom. That was embarrassing. It made me feel a little bit miserable. And I can still remember that day. But I never gave up my hope to budge the weight and to keep it off. That was the problem. When somebody would say, "Wow, you look good because you lost the weight," I didn't feel good about that because, I knew the weight was coming back and it always did. And once a coworker said, "You look happy." She had gone on vacation and come back and I must have gained weight. She was shocked. She didn't know what else to say. I didn't know back then that I had food sensitivities and that food I was eating was causing my inflammation and keeping me fat. I didn't know that you can burn body fat. I didn't know that you can't burn body fat with sugar in your blood, with glucose in your blood. And I didn't know my gut was in disarray, my digestion was off, and that my hormones were imbalanced. I was a losing battle each and every day with food. If I wasn't dieting, I was gaining weight. I just didn't realize that as long as I had sugar in my blood from carbohydrates, it would keep me from burning my own body fat. Dr. Jason Fung, The Obesity Code is his book that he wrote. He said he can make anybody fat. He just gives them insulin. And he's a nephrologist in Canada. And what he does for his clients is he fasts them. If he fasts them, lower their insulin rates, they reverse their diabetes and don't end up with kidney damage. Imagine that. Ben Bickman has fat cells in his labs, and he says they don't grow unless he gives them insulin. So the skinny narratives are a losing battle, especially when you're addicted to the carbs and following the conventional approach to dieting and being told to eat less, but it's okay to eat sugar and highly processed foods because perhaps feeling ever frustrated and feeling confused and defeated, unsupported, because it doesn't work. But what else are you going to do except go to Weight Watchers because you're just completely confused? Were you a chronic dieter like me? Everything secretly that you just wanted to keep under, say, 200 pounds? I was eating frozen yogurt all the time my whole life until my 50s. And ice cream daily. Driving through fast food restaurants in secret for that soft serve ice cream. Chocolate dipped, of course. I found excuses to eat donuts. I would pick up fresh baked bagels and eat air popped popcorn. I felt numb, driven, and ashamed. I just wanted to hide, and indeed life was hidden from me because I couldn't join the parties and participate in fun events because I didn't have any pretty clothes, and I was embarrassed. These parties weren't fun for me. I didn't feel pretty. I would struggle for 20 plus more years with obesity, allergies, bronchitis, sinusitis, and every spring, prednisone and antibiotics to go with them because of my asthma, because of my inflammation, because of my food sensitivities. My allergist told me I would always be on an inhaler. Well, he was wrong. I was a determined woman looking for my health solution, and I don't use an inhaler to this day. My mind and heart were open to finding my weight loss solution, so I read and researched and applied all the diets while I raised my children. I used to feel grateful to have been pushed outside my comfort zone when I was told I needed to lose weight on that fateful day. but I couldn't make it happen. Thus, I lost my 30s and 40s to obesity and quality life. Every December birthday thinking, this will be the year I finally lose the weight. I just couldn't keep the weight off, and I would eventually lose my marriage. But look at me now, ladies. Over the years, I noticed I would occasionally have a rapid heart rate. I went to a doctor and I told him I think I had metabolic syndrome because that's what I was researching at the time. And he scoffed at me, was unfriendly, and said, go get a CT scan and wear a heart monitor. I felt dismissed as a woman and unlistened to. I never went back to him. I don't think I went back to any doctor after that. I was on my own. It was time to be my own health detective. Have you felt dismissed with your health concerns? Gaslighted is the new term that is being used. I remember once that I had blood work done monthly for a year, but I went on the Atkins diet, lost 11 pounds, and whatever was happening was resolved. I just took the carbs out. I never needed to go back to that cancer center that was checking my blood. I have no idea what was going on, but whatever it was, no doctor was needed. Just need to change the diet. Again, Atkins saved my life. I started making habit changes. I added in coconut milk, read all the coconut oil books and coconut milk books by Dr. Bruce Fife. Get those. Those will change your life. I started working at a natural food store and learning more about supplements. I continued reading more books on functional health and food and asked a diabetic that lived across the street, do you have a rapid heart rate? She did. I noticed alcohol caused my rapid heart rate as well as sugar. I noticed cinnamon stopped the rapid heart rate, as did PGX. PGX fiber, my go-tos for years. I noticed if I didn't eat the sugar, the rapid heart rate went away. This is blood sugar imbalance, ladies. Imagine that. No doctor was really needed. We just have to take care of ourselves at home. At one point, I started collecting paleo cookbooks and experimenting more with quality food. It was the raw food movement. I continuously experimented with what made me feel better, and it wasn't raw apple pie because that didn't make me feel good, even though it was healthy. I started focusing on more protein and low carb. As my mom noticed all those years ago, protein made me feel better. I started to feel more alive, and I was getting excited. Eventually, I would correct my insulin sensitivity and get alcohol tolerance back. But today, I don't choose to drink alcohol because it doesn't do anything for me. But first, back up just a little bit. I did that HCG diet, and I loved it at the time. I lost a lot of weight, and I gained it all back. I cleaned up my food sources and ate clean. Paleo. Eventually, I read enough to understand Why We Get Fat by Dr. Gary Taubes and read The Wheat Belly by Dr. William Davis, MD, a cardiologist, about why we need to be gluten-free for heart health. Because, his mom died doing the conventional approach to health and wellness. And she had heart surgery and she died. And he took a look at that and he's like, something's wrong here. And he completely did a 360. And as a cardiologist, he is now an advocate for low carb and lives a low carb lifestyle. That tells a lot about metabolic health. I never went back to wheat after that book. I gave up the bread basket and I moved on to a paleo diet. But coconut sugar, dates, honey, was healthy, right? Better alternatives. And goji berries, golden berries, and mulberries were all superfood fruits that were supposed to be good for us, and I loved them. That was my sugar drip. But fruit, it turns out, was feeding my food cravings and my bad bacteria and keeping me insulin resistant and pre-diabetic. Because if your carbohydrates are too high and you're insulin resistant and pre-diabetic, you will just gain weight and stay that way. Or worse, become diabetic. I was stuck at 185 pounds trying to stay under 200 pounds. I was daily eating trail mix with dried berries because I didn't know what I didn't know. My eyes were wonky. I was anxious, unhappy, and pre-diabetic. I had gained all the weight I had lost on HCG, and I was again struggling to stay under that 200 pounds. That's that magic number that we don't want to go over, right, ladies? Paleo was not working for me. I still couldn't keep from gaining weight. Was there even a solution? I kept listening, reading, searching, desperate, and living in an anxious state of distress. Was there a solution for me? Well, it finally happened. I found my weight loss solution. Working at a health food store, I was invited to the local Bulletproof conference in Pasadena. This changed my life. I went to the Bulletproof conference and immersed myself in new, exciting ideas. I drank Bulletproof coffee. I met a 10-year brain cancer survivor who is a body type scientist who took one look at me and said, I shouldn't eat fruit. He was on a keto diet. I ditched the dried superfoods that very day and went keto. I started the Bulletproof diet and discovered how this unlocked stubborn weight loss. Now, this seems radical to most people at the time, but it was my hope, and it is the untold secret to weight loss that works. I started following Dave Asprey in earnest. I listened to every single podcast he put out. I was a determined woman. He was someone to follow who had been on a similar path of obesity and had the proven success that I wanted. He used to weigh over 300 pounds and couldn't lose the weight himself, even on a vegan diet and exercising 360 days out of the year, because he documented all of that on those skinny narratives and with the skinny myths. Because weight loss is a hormonal driven process, not a calories in, calories out process. Thus, my weight loss solution was handed to me. The more I listened, the more excited I got. So grateful. And now I am passing this information on to you so that you know and can create your weight loss solution. I did drop 20 pounds and my brain turned back on. Little did I know that this was also my diabetes solution that saved my life. It would be my disease prevention solution, as unbeknownst to me, I had melanoma developing inside of me. I never regained those 20 pounds. I reversed the prediabetes and never entered into diabetes. My client and brother Mark reversed his diabetes, yet our sister died from it. And just this past year, another sister died at 65 from cancer. That's too young. And it's can be prevented if you're able to do this soon enough by looking at your diet. That's why I call this a weight loss and diabetes solution. So the simple steps that I took were eat more fat and protein, ditch the sugars, the grains, and eliminate or minimize the fruit. In the beginning, I followed what I now call the food bridge concept, which I kept everything low carb and keto, but ate what I wanted and needed to keep my stress down. Because I still had to learn how to manage this with the stress that I had. And that made me feel good so I could stay the course. It's all about feeling good while we're doing this process. So you have to figure out how you're going to be able to feel good so you can focus on the process and turn this into a lifestyle. And that was the process of creating my low carb lifestyle. I now follow my own personal carb code based on my labs and my food sensitivities and my body type while balancing hormones and minerals. I needed fat. You need fat. It takes us 2.5 years to change out the inflammatory fat in our nervous system and our cellular system to the natural fats that we need to eat, because we cannot get energy from these plant fats that gets put into our cellular system, that we have to purge them and create a new fat system that gives us energy. We can only burn the saturated fats for energy. This is why you can get into a weight loss stall if you don't have a clean diet and a diet that has the right fats. So with my new brain energy on keto, I got excited and discovered my passion. I joined Chris Kresser's Adapt Functional Health Coaching Program and was certified a year later with lots of tears and growth as I developed a new strength of mind I became an empowered woman. Windows and doors opened for me. And then I got excited about functional diagnostic nutrition. And I certified as a practitioner. In 5 months, I was on fire. I just knocked it out the door. Now I have created the holistic low carb method that saves other women years of diet frustration so that they can find their peace of mind by uncovering their weight loss blocks with functional labs in their own home to finally lose the stubborn weight quickly while aging healthily. This is reclaiming your health, ladies. No one else needs to suffer as I did. Now, with my lived experience, this proven method of functional diagnostic nutrition and the holistic low carb method helps women lose weight finally while reclaiming your health. I developed this method from my pain and now my promise to help other women over 50 regain healthy aging. If you want this as well, I can be your practitioner. This is Slender over 50, the holistic path to healthy aging. So welcome. So glad you're here. Right. Let's get going. I'm finally living my purpose. And this is my passion as an obesity survivor. I am anchored in freedom, in service, and for my mission to help women over 50 choose health and implement their healthy aging and reclaim the second half of life just as I have. From the fire of obesity and amidst all the chaos of the noise coming from those skinny myths and narratives, I had to blaze my own trail amongst the naysayers. I was told I would die, that I lived in a different world, but I was onto something. So I lived low carb, studied all the coconut oil books and ate all the coconut that I could get in my body, drank bulletproof coffee with butter and coconut oil, and I still do to this day. I ate bacon, lots of meat, all the vegetables I wanted. I created my weight loss transformation that saved my life and my brother's. This is the health revolution you need to know about that the medical system won't tell you about. I am your holistic health practitioner leading the way. This is the untold secret to losing weight and reversing your risk for diabetes, the low carb approach to healthy aging. It turns out it comes back to those amino acids from protein, as my mom noticed all those years ago, that I kept noticing and I still notice to this day. Because my metabolic type. Food type is a protein-based metabolic type. So it really does make a difference. Protein and fat helps turn off your appetite as well. There's studies done that show that people and animals and even insects will eat and eat and eat until they get the right protein signaling to turn off their hunger. That's why you eat a bag of Doritos, you eat the whole bag because it has umami flavor. And your body's like, wow, there's protein in there. Keep eating it. We need that protein. But there never is. It's just junk. It's crap. And it's the food that is poisoning people. We need the amino acids from the right proteins. Weight loss is a hormonal process, not a calories in and calories out approach. A candy bar or a 100-calorie bag of low-fat cookies are going to raise your insulin and cause gut dysfunction, stall weight loss, and it is inflammatory havoc happening in your body. Bacon, meat, and fat won't do that. Thus, to correct your weight and health, you need to look at food as information. Food will kill you or it will heal you, basically. When you run your functional labs and test, not guess, to get the clarity you need and the information that will guide your personal carb code and food needs, this will build your low carb lifestyle so you can age healthy. I did lose that first 20 pounds initially, and then I stalled for 3 long years. Healing needed to happen. I personally needed to correct digestion, detoxification, gut, cardiovascular, and hormone health. I had a roll of fat under my breast that just wouldn't go away, the inflammation. It took me a long time to ditch that. But we need to get rid of that visceral fat. My body was repairing and it needed quality food and nutrients as information. My cellular system needed an oil change from vegetable seed oils to natural fats to eliminate inflammation and oxidation. I needed to repair my body with collagen. I did reverse fatty liver and prediabetes, which are insulin resistant states that are 88% of more people are now dealing with, and fatty pancreas. I see it in the labs. I felt better than I'd ever felt before, so I hung on for dear life and continued to create this process into the lifestyle I am currently living. This was 15 more pounds of weight loss, and it's permanent. It never come back. It never came back. Then my miracle started to happen. My asthma went away. I no longer get sinusitis or bronchitis or congestion at night. My eyes got better. My arthritis went away. My knees healed. My hair became thicker. I've never lost hair in my lifestyle. Never. And I'm not gray. I still have brown, dark blonde hair coming through. I felt like I was on fire to learn everything I could. I have so much energy today over the average woman that, oh, I often stand while everybody else is sitting because I have more energy. And standing doesn't hurt my feet. And I feel good standing. I always find that interesting. But as I lost weight and noticed how I was getting healthier, I knew I was on to something. I felt excited still. The day I threw away my breathing machine was amazing because I no longer needed it. That was amazing. I was so excited. My allergist, he was wrong. Asthma is inflammation from the foods you were eating. It was inflammation to me from the foods I was eating in an insulin resistant state. Once I went into a low carb diet, my asthma went away and I no longer had a huge reaction to allergies. Now, if I drink dairy at the wrong time of the season, I could get that allergy to come back because dairy is a food sensitivity for me. So I lost weight, I got healthier, and to this day, I have no pain in my body, no disease, and I'm not on any medication. I believe that the spot of melanoma that popped out on my neck a year into keto was a detox. I believe my body pushed it out epigenetically. I was no longer pulling the trigger on that gun. I dodged that bullet. That was in me. I used to feel that I'd been just ahead of the bullets that were after me. I knew there was a race going on and I just didn't understand it. But have I dodged them completely? It's hard to tell. We have a toxic bucket we live around in our environment, and there's also stress to manage. Time will tell. But I won't be dying from obesity, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and those complications. I plan to dance into my hundreds with my bones and muscles intact, strong. I am planning my life as I age adventurously to have a working brain and good cognition. And the clients I help are noticing this as well. That lights me up. And I want to take you on this journey where you get to choose health for health freedom to age healthy and be slender at 50. Though it's truly not just weight loss, but staying out of a nursing home and not being a burden to our loved ones, living disease-free as best we can within our environment that we're in. But first, you have to address those missing pieces of your health puzzle: digestion, gut, hormone, immune, energy, and stress, the dress and functional diagnostic nutrition. I didn't understand initially until I lived through it. Then I discovered health adventures for circadian balance that were like magic for for rest and stress reduction. This lady's was 20 more pounds of weight loss. My endless walking finally paid off. Here's where you get to let your feet walk for weight loss, because movement is medicine and part of the missing piece of your health. It's not just diet. You could do this diet and say you fail at it. And many people start keto or low carb and they say it didn't work for them, that it failed. Well, you have to activate your muscles and get that movement, but you also have to do diet, rest, exercise, stress, and supplementation, and look at circadian health to support your body. It's not just diet, it's weight maintenance by activating your low carb lifestyle, and you need to activate your muscles because you have to build stronger mitochondria. And these mitochondria in your body are like Pac-Man, and they're going to go around and gobble up all the diseased and dying debris and recreate themselves called mitophagy to make you stronger and to reverse your cognitive decline. This truly happens. And that's why I look at my holistic low carb method as a health adventure and planned retreats in Sedona. It's a powerful process that I inspire and model daily. I walk the talk, ladies. This is my lifestyle. You don't need to struggle or do this alone. I feel your pain and I've got you. I can guide you to where you need to go naturally, not with drugs or surgery. What I lived through as an obesity survivor led to my unlocking my carb codes for weight loss and diabetes, which was to take away the food sensitivities and intolerances, discover my personal healing opportunities, dial in low carb nutrition while supporting digestion for my body to function the way it was designed. Your solution is that you too can find your weight loss blocks and the right functional labs and nutrition. Your personal carb code just needs to be dialed in. With my lived experience in the holistic low carb method, I guide my clients through this process using the right labs and tie it all together with holistic lifestyle management. This is rewiring your metabolism. My certainty and conviction, which are my superpowers that I turn on with each client to maximize their results, because I know you just don't know what you don't know, but I know it for you. And I know how to guide you and take you where you need to go. I can't bring back my sister who passed away from obesity or my other sister that died from cancer. But I saved myself and my brother, and I can be your superhero. Isn't it amazing that we can choose health and create 10 to 20 more quality years to live actively? It just has to be implemented and the lifestyle activated. I care because I know it hurts, and you just don't need to suffer anymore. Today, you learned you can use the food bridge concept and build your carb code to flip your sugar switch off and overcome hunger and cravings as you unlock your weight loss, finally flipping the disease switch off as well. Now you can collapse the time and save years of diet frustration and get peace of mind because you uncovered your weight loss blocks with the right functional labs. Implementation of the holistic low carb method will create clarity and trumps the skinny narratives with simple steps so you get permanent weight loss. Finally, without the struggle and frustration of years of guessing as you break your carb cycle, because you choose to, because you're going to feel better and you're going to drop 20 plus pounds to start with. And then you're going to beat diabetes and dementia naturally. Imagine the opportunities as you dive into this. My client Loretta said, nothing tastes as good as energy fills, so get excited. What I have been teaching and empowering you with today, I hope has helped you understand that food is medicine to your body, and being skinny isn't about dieting, but getting real food as nature intended to nourish your body, eating more maybe, but not less, to meet your nutrient needs. This then leads to living life with less disease risk as the overall goal, not just focusing on weight loss, but getting healthy to lose the weight permanently, because you flipped off the inflammation and your disease switch and corrected your metabolism. This is your weight loss and diabetes solution. You actually can have both of those. It's a 2-for-1, which is exciting. It's empowering. Don't you feel it? That's why this talk is called Slender Over 50, the holistic path to healthy aging. This lights me up, and it's the fire that feeds my passion and keeps my purpose in place. The next step for you is to implement it. I live a low-carb lifestyle because it solves the underlying root cause of a lifetime of food sensitivities, gut dysfunction, hormone imbalances, insulin resistance, depression, and prediabetes. I choose not to have those. This lifestyle addresses the underlying problem of food sensitivities that create inflammation and digestive dysfunction. Correcting these will improve your gut health and overall immune system and create brain health as the outcome. No need for dementia because you now know how to flip your sugar switch off. It's about reversing these lifestyle diseases. No doctor is needed. Seriously. Dr. William Davis says take care of yourself at home, and his book is called Undoctored. And you can follow him on his podcast, which is called Defiant Health. Don't you love that? So here's how I started. I used the food bridge concept to create my low carb lifestyle. As a determined woman, when we want results, we first need to turn off hunger and control cravings. So check out my framework at my website at loribaloo.com so you can see the process. And it's okay to have a sugar-free food bar, eat a keto cookie or keto chocolate, or make keto bread in the beginning. Even have lots of fat and drink bulletproof coffee. It's okay to be different. This is about your survival and reclaiming your health. People may say otherwise, but this worked for me and it worked for Dave Asprey. I call it survival. Just start and dive in. Follow the food bridge process. Never give up. Start with a buddy. Start with a friend. Do it with somebody and have accountability. Just make sure of food quality and keep the wheat, sugar, and grains out. Simple. Create your carb code. Download my recipe book. It's free at my website. I needed these food bridges because of sugar cravings and food addictions. And to this day, I am not a moderator. I am an abstainer. An abstainer is somebody who cannot eat something without overeating it. And so even something that tastes good, I might eat too much. But lately, I'm realizing exactly what it is that I needed to do to keep my appetite turned off so I can be more of a moderator. I ate 2 keto cookies today, and I didn't eat the third. I wasn't hungry. I put it away. I could not have done that 10 years ago. And even recently, I normally would eat 4 or 5 cookies, but I wasn't hungry. So never give up. Follow the food bridge process. You've got this. Just to make sure that you are following the good food quality, because some foods can cause more inflammation than others, like protein that is grass-fed is going to have less inflammation, less omega-6 than traditional raised meat. And that can be something that could cause a problem for you. And finding out your food sensitivities is going to help you fine-tune all of this as well. So I needed those food bridges in the beginning because of those sugar cravings I was telling you about. They made me feel less stressed. And in the beginning, this can keep you from falling back into the old habits so that you can be successful and see quick results. You need food rules, perhaps. I did. And when you follow the food rules, it's not that you're restricting yourself, it's that you're choosing to have a different pathway and you need to break the old habits. That's why the food bridge process works. You use the bridge to get to the low carb side and away from the standard food and processed foods. And you just use the flavors that you were used to, but you make it low carb. Food will heal you, or it could be the slowest poison that's going to damage your body in the future. One that contributes. You want food to contribute to your health span. That's how you want to look at food. Is it poison or is it healthy? And even if you think it's healthy, like a banana, if you've got insulin resistance, that fruit could still be too much for your pancreas and your insulin levels. You first need to reverse the prediabetes and the diabetes and then see where your carb code is. So make it a rule to eat low carb. Cut the processed carbs, make everything low carb, and you will be succeeding at aging healthy as you lose the stubborn inflammatory weight and the visceral fat around your face. Even at parties and on vacations. I just got back from the Cook Islands. I ate what I wanted to eat, but it was all low carb, and I came back 2 pounds lighter. These things can happen. It's a lifestyle, and not just I'm going on vacation and I'm going to eat all the things. But it could be that you could make some food rules before you go on vacation and see what it is that you want to choose to do. Because it's really hard to get back on track when you go off and on. And that's why people fail keto and low carb, because they don't make it a lifestyle. This is not a diet, it's a lifestyle shift, a holistic path to follow. It's choosing health as your wealth for aging, healthy aging, and you can do it on the go. You just have to make the decision to do so. I do this all the time. That's why I'm disease and pain free at 62. And I am planning a Wyoming road trip with my mom up to Glacier National Park this year. And she's already planning her packing, and I'm already planning what I want to take. And I pack a lot of the foods that I want to eat, and we do a lot of picnics. So there's so many things that we can choose to do when we're out and about. It just has to be something that we plan. You just have to plan more around it. Eventually, you may feel that that's not possible, but it really is. That's why when you work with somebody like me, I can help hold you accountable and help guide you in the process. So start there, make it low carb, follow the food bridge process, download my recipe book, use those recipes. They saved my life. Low carb saved my life, and it can save yours. I'm not making this up, it's in the studies. I did this personally. This is my lived experience. Then you transition into less snacking like me now. I don't need to snack a lot. I eat my protein, my fat, kimchi, fermented vegetables. You know, you want the food to heal your body so you can lose more weight. But you've got to get your brain and your hormones on board, ladies. It's a journey. It's not going to be done in a day. Give yourself 6 months to implement this process. That's why my signature program is 6 months. This works when implemented with me. I've got your back. So here I am at 62. Now my knees are better, my leg muscles stronger, and I can breathe easily and hike without pain. I remember when I first walked down the Grand Canyon at the bottom of at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, there's a national park lodge. They're cabins. It's called Phantom Ranch. And I wanted to do that, and my husband and I planned it. I had excruciating knee pain walking down there. Every year I would go back to the Grand Canyon. Every year, every other year, I would go back and I would walk Bright Angel Trail. And in the beginning, my minerals were imbalanced. I would get a little bit of queasiness or a little faint. I had to balance my minerals. They were imbalanced. And I still needed to heal my knees. There was still a little bit of pain. But I go back now and I have no pain in my knees. And 2 years ago on my 60th birthday, even the year before that, I did a practice walk at the Grand Canyon for 17 miles from the South Rim to South Rim. And during a heat wave, I had no pain in my body and I felt amazing. And then the year later, on my 60th birthday, I hiked across the Grand Canyon, my first rim to rim, because I'm going to do another soon, for 24 miles. And then last year, I scaled Angel's Landing at Zion. And it was intimidating, but I did it. And I was tired on that 24-hour walk across the Grand Canyon, but I did it and I was excited. And I went to bed and I didn't feel any muscle pain. I was sore the next 2 days, but that's just using your muscles. That's building muscles, ladies. And I've been summiting the Southern California mountains 8 times because that was my practice run for the Grand Canyon. And I've been hiking 10 and 12 miles up ridge lines with no pain. Just sore, used muscles, and tired because it's tiring to walk 10 to 12 miles. I get it. But you get stronger with every hike and you build resilience and endurance. And I'm heading to the like I told you, I'm heading to the Glacier National Park for my next half marathon, and I'm excited about it because it keeps me excited. When you create a health adventure lifestyle and plan things around vacations around being active, you win. That weight loss will stay off, and you will be motivated and inspired to stay on a low carb lifestyle. You got to make it a health adventure lifestyle. You want to implement it and activate the process. That's why I want to take you to Sedona. So if you're interested in a year-long program, I have my VIP year-long program, which is all-inclusive, and you get a private 3-night Sedona retreat. So if you're interested in that, just email me and let's chat. So, as a woman at 62, I'm finally getting to know myself, and I'm excited for who I've become as a woman and entrepreneur. And I am living my pain to purpose, my mission, my passion. And I'm excited and inspired to empower you here today. I hope I have. I am walking this path with you and creating my life as a health adventure because it keeps me slender and healthy, aging young, and I feel good. I now have pride and confidence in myself that I never had before 50. This is our self-care, ladies. It starts at home. Here's what I taught you. Skinny myths are just myths. Those skinny narratives, they don't work. Dieting doesn't work. Dieting will keep you sick and overweight, and you will eventually, not if, develop a lifestyle disease or two, an autoimmunity from leaky gut, from eating wheat, because these diseases begin with insulin resistant and nutrient deficiencies and food sensitivities. We have such an epidemic of disease. As I mentioned, 88% of people are insulin resistant. Following the skinny myths, per the conventional approach to health and weight management, the cost of inaction, of continuing doing the same thing you've been doing for years, will lead you down the road to living with an expensive, life-threatening disease. Per the statistics, eating a lifestyle, an anti-inflammatory lifestyle, like low-carb lifestyle, the studies show that you get 10 to 20 more years of quality living. I believe that because I'm doing that. I am your woman over 50 advocate to tell you you don't have to accept that or to suffer. I am excited to be here today to educate and empower you, to keep you excited, so you look beyond the skinny narratives. As scary as it may seem, that's why you work with somebody who is certain and has conviction, so you can choose health as your wealth to create your holistic, disease-free, healthy aging lifestyle for longevity. This is creating a healthier lifespan. So excited. Don't you feel it? Here's a powerful story that I want to tell you about with a keto low carb nutrition that you may not have heard about. Mimi was eating the standard low fat, protein deficient diet all her life, and she stayed slender. She followed the conventional approach for health and weight management. She may not have had the obesity gene because she didn't gain weight, even on the carbohydrates she was eating, but she restricted calories and she restricted protein and fat. By the time she hit her 50s, she developed rheumatoid arthritis. She developed Parkinson's and went to all the doctors and had established Parkinson's disease. And she then had a stroke. While she was in the hospital, she contracted MRSA. She nearly died, could barely walk. And when she got home, she could barely walk 10 steps. She was living on 14 different medications. 14. She could barely eat. But she wanted to lose weight because she'd always been slender and she didn't feel good in her body. So she went across the street to a pharmacy, and that pharmacy had a chiropractor who'd already been on his keto journey. And she told her story and showed him all her medications, and he said, "Trust me," and suggested she try a keto diet for her weight loss solution. At this point, what did she have to lose? She had never heard of a keto diet. But she was exhausted, she wanted to lose weight, and she wanted to feel better. She did not know what to expect. But within 6 months, she not only lost the weight or started to lose the weight, she started to feel better. She started to reduce her medication and no longer needed it as much. Today, she is no longer has any symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis or Parkinson's and is off all medication. Symptoms of inflammation gone, pain gone, her energy back, weight normalized. She's doing strength training. She's strong. You would never know she almost died. from the standard American skinny narratives and the skinny myths that hurt people. That's what she went through. Her story amazes me because it's powerful and empowering to know that this can happen. It's priceless. So I wanted you to know about that. You can actually look up Mimi's story in YouTube's and check it out because it's empowering. And my client Loretta, she turned off the inflammation in her body and stopped cognitive decline and no longer has chronic bladder issues that had been ongoing since her mid-30s for over 20 years. And when you work with me, I don't always know what to expect or what's going to happen in in your body or in her body, or my clients' bodies, because we don't know what's going to reduce when you reduce the inflammation and change your diet and create your lifestyle. Miracles happen. When I asked her how her urinary issue was when I was checking in one day, she said, "What issue? There isn't one." Wow. She got herself back. And she no longer has to worry about where every single bathroom is and worry that she doesn't worry about any of that anymore. Priceless. And Donna was down 26 pounds. She lost 95% of her pain that had crippled her and forced her to buy a scooter for the house. And now, after my program, she was able to be active, like at 5 in the morning to 8 p.m. at night, and do life without collapsing after work or meals that she had been before. She had less gas and indigestion and bloating, and she doesn't have to lie down after work or eating. She lost 1.5 shoe sizes. Now she was creating her own carb code, making a cookbook, making everything low carb, and following the food bridge process. Priceless. This is the power of food as medicine and as information to your body. When you stop eating the foods that are slowly poisoning you, eating more fat and protein and giving the body the building blocks it needs to heal, amino acids. Now, I am not your doctor, and you may need to work with your doctor to get off medications. This information is for educational purposes only and for information. So you need to work with your doctor if you have a disease or need to get off your medications. My education, knowledge, and lived experience is a powerful process as your partner and practitioner. My holistic low carb method programs support you, the whole person, and not just your symptoms. As an FDNP, I don't just treat symptoms, but I support you, your whole person. I actually give you a metabolic analysis to see what's going on in your body, to see what kind of symptoms you have, but I don't treat your symptoms. I support you, the whole person. That's functional diagnostic nutrition. The medical system is not a health solution. It's sick care. Nutrition and health start at the home with you, per Dr. William Davis and Dr. Jason Fung. Follow the doctors. I do. This is why I have lost weight and I'm keeping off 100 pounds because I was willing, inspired, and empowered and motivated to listen and follow somebody who had results that came before me, even seemingly radical to people, not with dieting, but with the power of holistic low-carb nutrition. Yes, a ketogenic diet that addresses why we get fat by Gary Taubes, From the Root Cause. Now, your low-carb nutrition doesn't need to be a strict ketogenic diet. It just needs to be low carb, and you create your carb code as you go along, depending on your lifestyle, your needs, and where you are in the journey. It changes as you go through it. Some days I'm carnivore. Some days I'm going to eat a keto cookie and I'm just low carb. It's okay. All of this works. All of it works. If I want to make a carrot cake for my birthday, I make a carrot cake for my birthday. If I want to eat a pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving, make a keto pumpkin pie. It's possible, ladies. And I make keto cookies whenever I want them. And I I'm still keeping my weight off. So these are things that we get to contribute to our lifestyle and create them. So download my recipe book at my website because I hope it inspires you and gives you some recipes that you can use and helps guide you into the food bridge process. Because I understand how hard it can be when you first get started. So I finally did lose that 100 pounds at 60. It did take me 25 years because I didn't know what I didn't know. It was a lifetime because I started as a child, because I had to figure it out, live and fail the diets. I needed to uncover my weight loss blocks, my food sensitivities, balance my gut and hormones, and I continue to tweak my carb code even to this day to stay healthy. Because there's always something that we can do to improve our health. And so it's not something you stop, something you live. Life is a health hobby. It's what I do. That's exciting. It keeps you focused and living life as an adventure. So I finally succeeded at that weight loss at 60. Now I live active and age adventurously, and I do half marathons for fun. I don't do them for speed. I do them to take pictures and get out in nature. I love it. And I did my first half marathon back in 2020. And I thought it was amazing. And I've been energized ever since. But you don't have to wait 25 years. You don't have to wait that long because you can implement your low carb lifestyle this year. I help you collapse the time it takes to get there, to get the right information you need for your body to uncover your weight loss blocks by using the right functional labs at home this year. You don't have to wait. What outfit are you hoping to get into that you want that's slender, that you can feel slender and beautiful in your body? I just became a personal assistant to somebody, a local businesswoman here, and we're going out on Thursday, and I get to put on a cute dress and get out and have fun for the day. I could never have done that when I was depressed and anxiety ridden and still sick and overweight. I'm excited about life. This is what you get back. You get to live again. And even if it's like me, living for the very first time at 53, for the very first time losing my weight and feeling beautiful in my body, it's never too late, ladies. And sometimes we have brain fog and don't feel good and there's fatigue. There's a reason why there's that. That's why we run the labs to find out what's going on in your body so I can help you address that. This is why the holistic low carb method works, why my aging beautifully and adventurously process works, because we find your hidden healing opportunities and those weight loss blocks. Put your body back together, fill in the cracks like Humpty Dumpty, and put you back up on that wall so you can live life again. Get you away from the cliff's edge so you don't fall off, but get back to living life again. That's what I did. That's what I do for my clients. That's what I want to help you with. And so we're going to address what is hidden that is now revealed with those diagnostic labs that will support you at the foundational level so that you can recreate the health that you want to have. Now you can see what to correct that was hidden, causing those interferences of poor health and stubborn weight gain. This is the power of knowledge, to work with a practitioner with my expertise and lived experience who will empower and educate you, has certainty and conviction to guide you, and a powerful opportunity. When I was working with my client Lynn at the beginning of this year, she came to me depressed, feeling overweight, and stuck in her journey to lose the weight and feel great in her body. She was already on a carnivore diet and gaining weight. But we got together and we had our first call. And I told her to do this, this, and this after I figured out what she was doing. And she made the changes because she's a very determined woman and she wanted that weight loss. And I was thinking, how am I going to help this woman who's already 130 pounds lose 10 pounds? She lost 2.5 pounds in the very first week. She lost 10 pounds. Check out her interview at my website. That's Lynn. And she said, I got my summer body. I was so, so happy. And I felt so amazing. I felt so good. I did that. I helped her do that. And now I'm doing it for myself still. because I just lost 7 pounds. I've got this. I feel like I've cracked the code for menopause weight loss. It's really happening. When you can turn off your hunger, you can focus on what you need to do with your diet and nutrition and support your health of your body so that you can gain muscle and lose the inflammatory fat. So when you work with someone like me who is an obesity survivor, has clinical experience, and I made my transformation in my 50s during menopause, you get this lived experience handed to you for the guidance to fast track weight loss. Now you get 10 to 20 more years of quality living, active and aging beautifully per the studies of an anti-inflammatory diet, which is what a low-carb diet and keto diet is. It's anti-inflammatory, contrary to what anybody else will tell you to say or tell you. So now you are aging adventurously. So happy, losing the weight, creating a new era of health span. So you're not a burden to your children. You get to be outside having adventure. Go to the Cook Islands like I did, and actually snorkel. Felt great. So it's my hope now that you understand how all of this can work. If you reduce the right carbs for your body and correct your blood sugar and your metabolism, you can drop 20 pounds on average in 6 months. I've had clients lose 26, 30 pounds. It all happens. It just depends on how well you implement it and where the interferences are so that you can get the weight loss you need. You don't ever have to gain it back as long as you have created and activated your aging beautifully and adventurously lifestyle, your low carb living lifestyle. If you don't do anything to change this lifestyle and you continue to do the sad American diet, the shortfall is you set yourself up for lifestyle diseases of aging and the complications with the conventional method of eating you've been told by the medical system. This conventional approach has led to the diabetes and obesity epidemic we have in America today, which makes me mad because it's all preventable. To sum this up, I have shared with you that you just can't do one or two things, and you can't out-supplement a bad diet. You need to get to the root cause. You can't just take a pill without addressing lifestyle or even a drug, because the drugs will not last long term. Ozempic is not the answer. You want to reset your metabolism and teach your body how to function naturally. So I've shown you how looking inside your body with functional labs and discovering your hidden healing opportunities, weight loss blocks, and removing those interferences creates your weight loss and disease solution that you can have this year. So is it time you ditch the skinny myths to lose weight for good? No longer going to Weight Watchers because you don't know what else to do. Now you get to live life pain-free, active, and enjoy feeling beautiful with a brain that functions. No disease necessary, no doctor necessary. Because all health starts in the kitchen, and all health is because of what we eat. And so we need to correct that. One more drink of water. So I wake up feeling slender every morning. Today I got up and put on skinny jeans and I'm like, cool, they still fit. I don't have to worry about it. I get up without any pain in my body. I'm rarely stiff. This is where you stop worrying and breathe in a sigh of relief and get peace of mind. I love seeing the smiles come back to my clients' faces as they come back to life, see their progress, re-energized and empowered, and knowing they'll never eat that crap again because they dialed in their personal carb code with functional labs guiding their results. Loretta had bladder issues for 20 plus years. My God, I don't know who was more excited, me or her. I think it was me. She's like, well, it's gone. Oh, it's all good. She wanted herself back. She got herself back. She got more than herself back. She got her life back. I told you about Mark, my first client who had diabetes and high blood pressure. He was over 350 pounds and his doctor said, it's time for insulin. Mark said, I want to try diet change first, because he would say it to me afterwards. He said everything that I've been following that they told me to do didn't work. So why would I just want to go on to drugs? So he tried diet, and he had felt like walking death. And he had done the skinny narratives as they told him to do. It was on all the medications and hadn't gotten any better. He started off eating low carb, following the skinny meds, because he didn't know what he didn't know. And I hadn't got a hold of him yet. He started off eating low calorie foods that didn't make him feel good. And he was always hungry. But I got him at Thanksgiving 2020, and he was eating sugar and counting his calories. And I said, what are you doing? I had just finished functional diagnostic nutrition, and I was a practitioner. And I said, we need to change this. So we ran the labs. We found his hidden weight loss blocks with functional labs, and I supported him with this lifestyle, targeted supplementation, and the holistic low carb method. He got his goal weight down to 178, testosterone back, no longer had diabetes, maintains the weight loss as his aging adventurously lifestyle. His smile came back. He matches his shoes to his clothes. I love it. I love it. I inspired him, which lights my heart up. And this is why I do this work. I had a client just tell me, she goes, you care. As long as you care, that's what matters. Isabel, down 42 pounds. She lost 30 and another 12. She lost 30 while working with me, continued her aging, adventurously beautiful lifestyle, and lost 12 more because she wanted to live. She was grateful for her new health. And she used to wake up in the morning with foot pain, and that went away within 9 days. But one of her hobbies was walking at Disneyland with her family. And now she gets to do that, continues to do that. Of course, Donna was down 25 pounds, lost 95% of her pain, as she recreated her health and retirement freedom and got back to living. Stacy, who had depression, adrenal burnout, and wasn't sleeping. Now she can focus better on major projects at work and can focus without debilitating food cravings. And she noticed that she wasn't triggered as much, and she hadn't changed her medication. And she like, wow, I feel different. She says I saved her life, and she feels better than ever and finally sleep better. I feel gratitude every day. Mary, who needed guidance to lose the weight and came to me just for a GI map, but we ran all the tests. And it was diet that made the difference, and meat that helped her get to where she needed to go. She dialed in the holistic low carb method aligned with her food sensitivities, lost 30 pounds, and says, do everything Lori says. That just lights my heart up. And Janina worked with me for 2 years, lost 58 pounds just in time for her wedding. But initially, she had lost 60 pounds and gained it all back during COVID. Gained it all back with the conventional approach and the skinny myths. Now she has permanent weight loss and feels good and no desire to live on the sad American diet, and she's off her medications. Pia lost 50, 50, practiced OMAD and bulletproof coffee. She was on fire. She had so much inflammation from arthritis, but now she hikes in Sweden, calls me up and texts me, and she says, Lori, I have no pain in my body, and I'm hiking in Sweden. Priceless. If she eats bread, the arthritis comes back. And Lynn, so happy with her new summer body. And Nancy, she just told me she's pain-free in 4 weeks since had fibromyalgia, and she was carnivore for a year. Pancreatic insufficiency showing, and pain. Now she's already rectifying that, and we're working on correcting dysbiosis. More testimonies are at my website, and I'm excited to share all of these. My client's success is my success. And I'm so grateful to see all my clients' smiles come back. Here's where I can show you how you can take this further. What you can do is find a functional nutrition practitioner who understands low-carb nutrition so you can find your hidden weight loss blocks, lose weight naturally, and get the support you need for accountability, for success. for permanent weight loss without drugs or surgery. That's how I started. Actually, I started just learning this on my own, but that's why it took me longer, because I didn't have a practitioner helping me, guide me, who had the information that I needed. But just know weight loss drugs are not necessary. Obesity is not a disease. It's a lifestyle of metabolic dysfunction that leads to lifestyle diseases, but it is not a disease. So it should not be treated with drugs if it isn't necessary. If a keto diet will work for you to reset your metabolism, you should start there. You don't ever have to feel like you're stuck with fatigue, brain fog, depression, or weight gain and worried about headed towards a disease. As I was saying, obesity is not a disease. It's an environmental result of eating the wrong foods for our biology with living within a toxic environment. If your toxic bucket is full, you've got disease. And food contributes to that. But being overweight does eventually lead to those lifestyle diseases that are ultimately reversible, which many low-carb doctors are now focused on clinically, which is so exciting. And you could also try to do this on your own. But as I said, that does take a lot longer. But start. Don't wait. Give it a go. See where you're at. And for those of you who are ready to dive in today, I have an offer for you on how you can finally lose your weight for good, just as I have. I have personally created a health adventure experience staycation for women over 50 with the holistic low carb method, my aging beautifully and adventurously process. And if you're not over 50 and somebody shared this video with you, you get a head start on living your best life. I'm so excited for you. And this is where we can implement the holistic low carb method and aging beautifully and adventurously process together in a collaboration to correct your blood sugar imbalances and reset your metabolism. Use functional labs to uncover your hidden health and weight loss blocks and a targeted supplementation protocol to support your specific needs holistically so you get healthy to lose the weight this year. Now it's your chance to get back to beautiful, because you can. I did it. I did it. I feel gorgeous. You can too. I coach my clients with weekly Rewire Your Metabolism accountability calls. So you get the support, the radical accountability you need, the education you need to recreate your beautiful body and reclaim the health you want to have to live better and longer. You get to choose that. But you do have to make the lifestyle changes. It isn't going to happen on the standard American diet. That just leads to disease. I didn't make any of this up. I'm just your woman over 50 advocate giving you the facts. So you can activate your low carb lifestyle for longevity. Slender over 50 and your holistic path to healthy aging can start now. This is where I shine, and my certainty and conviction and lived experience, and now my clinical experience can guide you powerfully and empower you as you get results. I will show you how you can collapse the time it takes for you to finally lose the weight, stop the fatigue, stop the pain, bring back your energy, reverse cognitive issues, stop inflammation in the bladder, reset your metabolism while reversing inflammation. I call this aging beautifully and adventurously. This call is free. So let me ask you this. Do you feel it's time you got away from that edge of the cliff and got back to living, feeling comfortable in your body again? I hope you do, and I hope that this helped you think about what it is that you want to do for your future. And if you want to schedule a call with me, I'm here, and I'm 4 spots open for June. And I have 3 VIP spots open for the year. And when they're gone, they're gone. And you can find out more about that on my Work With Me page at my website. And I'm super excited to offer that because it's all inclusive and comes with that private Sedona retreat that I was telling you about, and a little day trip to the Grand Canyon and a walk down a Bright Angel Trail to the tunnel. Let's make 2025 the year you finally reach your health goals and feel good in your body again. You'll get to recreate the body you want to live in. So, what body do you want to have? You get to finally lose the weight for good, as I did, and reclaim your hump, the second half of your life, to be your best. No suffering is needed. Don't you feel it? Excited? It's exciting. That's why I'm successful, because I never gave up my hope and I never gave up the excitement. I just keep getting more and more excited, and I'm recreating the life that I want to live. And I have a special for you for listening to this and for attending today's webinar. So thank you for coming, because I don't want this to be hard. But I'm offering $500 off my signature program, my 6-month program, when you book a call and mention this webinar. And with the pay in full, you get a free month of accountability calls, which is valued at $599 a month. As I have become a practitioner and a more confident woman, I love this quote that I want to say to you. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. So this is for you to create that vision. So wave that magic wand in front of your face, so that if you're determined to live longer and age healthy, I've got your back. You get to create the body you want to live in. And if you have any questions, just email me, or let's get on a call and see what it is that we can do for you. Thanks for coming.